Hey everyone, I'm Ann. Welcome to the Let's Get Naked podcast, where we dive deep into vulnerability. In this space, we'll explore what triggers us, uncover the patterns holding us back, and discover how to take charge of our own growth. If you're ready to dig in, be vulnerable, and face the tough stuff, then buckle up. It's time to get naked. Oh, God. So everyone knows this is going to be a rough one to get through. We're kind of doing a podcast today to deal with things that are happening in our world, and everyone is kind of charged about it. So here we go. America, wake the hell up. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is not just the silencing of one man. It is not about whether you agreed with him, hated him, or never listened to a single word he spoke. It is about something far bigger, far more dangerous. The very assault on our shared humanity, our right to speak, our right to disagree, our right to live in a country where dialogue, however messy, raw, or offensive, still matters more than bullets. Make no mistake, this was not just an attack on Charlie Kirk. This was an attack on you, on me, on every single one of us who dares to open your mouth and say something the mob doesn't like. If today they come for the person you despise, tomorrow they will come for the person you love, and then they will come for you. Freedom doesn't die all at once. It dies when good people shrug their shoulders and say, well, I didn't like him anyway. Here's the savage truth bomb. You don't get to cherry pick free speech. You don't only get it when the words feel comfortable, when they affirm your worldview, when they come wrapped in the bow of your tribe. Free speech means defending, even fiercely, the right of someone you can't stand to speak their truth. Otherwise, it's not freedom. It's tyranny dressed up in self-righteousness. This murder was not political theater. It was not an internet debate. It was a human being, gunned down in cold blood in a nation that's forgotten how to disagree without destroying. And if that doesn't shake you to your core, then you're already asleep. And history shows that sleepers always pay the price when the wolves are at the door. So let's cut through the noise. This is not about left or right, red or blue. This is about whether we still believe in the experiment that is America. That wild, audacious promise that free men and women can speak their mind without fear of death. You can hate Charlie Kirk. You can rage against every word he ever said. But you better damn well recognize that the bullet that killed him was aimed at all of us. At our future, at our kids, at the possibility of ever finding common ground again. And if we can't wake up to that reality, if we keep feeding this machine of hate, division, and righteous violence, then we're not just losing free speech. We're losing the very soul of what it means to be human. Today, I'm stripping it all off with Leila. Leila is the owner of the podcast studio that I record at and has been affected by the actions in our country over the last week. And we felt like it was a really important conversation to be had from our perspectives. And so welcome to the show. I can't wait to hear what's going to happen.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So will you just start maybe with a little bit about kind of your relationship with,
Absolutely.
You just start.
100%.
Okay.
So I started my business in Washington, D.C., and I moved out to Arizona in 2018. And in D.C., I was politically active. I had clients that were politicians. And when I came out to Arizona, I went through a massive shift. I saw a different way of life. I saw happier people. I saw a better business environment. And through all of that, I was fortunate enough to stumble upon Turning Point USA, which is the organization and the nonprofit that Charlie Kirk has founded. And that's actually located right down the street from where we're sitting right now. Anyways, he was the most well-spoken, politically active, inspiring person of my generation that I had ever come across. And I had been working previously with the Democrats, and I had found myself very much leaning more conservatively. And a lot of what he said in terms of values, faith, etc., really resonated with me. I'd always been a Christian, and I was inspired by how he really had such conviction in God. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, especially in DC, take God out of the equation entirely. Mm-hmm. And that's their decision to do. I'm not knocking anybody. That is absolutely a personal decision. But he he was willing to have dialogue with people. So long story short, he held tons and tons of events. He always has. And a lot of them were here in Phoenix. And I had the pleasure of being able to meet him, being able to go. I've been to America Fest a few times, his large one that happens right before Christmas. And every time I met him, he was just the most kind, genuine, warm, smiling person. He was always just a friendly, warm force to be around. And that was great because being in Democratic fundraising, I saw the dark side. I can tell you firsthand, Michelle Obama is not a nice person. She's great on camera. She is terrible behind the scenes to anyone who works for her, to anyone in her sphere. And that's just the reality. So it was refreshing to see somebody who is doing something for good within his party, doing it so eloquently and actually being the kind person that he claimed to portray outwardly. So when this all happened, I was in absolute shock. I truly could not believe that he had been shot in cold blood. And I was in Houston with clients in an office, a corporate office. And one of the guys in a cubicle around the corner found the video on Twitter and literally showed the entire office. And I've never seen anything like that in my entire life.
The actual video of it happening. So this has been a rough week for me because for people that know me, I have a very different story than you do. I intentionally have put my head in the sand, and I will admit that all the time. I'm an ostrich, and I don't want to pay attention to what's going on out there, right? I was raised in a Christian home. I was raised by parents that were conservative. I have my own views that don't really align with either side, because I think a lot of the political parties and everything that they stand for is meant to divide us. And I think that that's terrible. It hurts my heart for everybody, because it's like, do we really all believe this exact same thing, but then we let those people speak for us? Or do we really all believe this same things, right? So there's things that
completely agree with you.
Exactly. So there's things that from the right I look at and I go, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then there's things from the left that I say, oh, that makes sense to me as well. So I really believe that just with my core beliefs, I'm pretty right down the middle with stuff. And I also can understand why everyone would have all of the different views that they do. And I encourage everyone to be able to speak their truth. And I think that that's the biggest piece of all of this, right? When that happened, it does feel like an assault to me on just our free speech, on humanity, on our shared human connection. It's like, it's not just the murder of this man who, it breaks my heart, because the reason I even knew about Charlie Kirk was my 18-year-old son brought that to me, months and however long ago, of just like, this guy's well-spoken, right? My son is in college. This guy is well-spoken. And regardless of whether you agree with him or don't agree with him, I agree with his conviction and his faith, and being able to really put himself on the line and stand up for what he believes in, right? Like, that's, to me, is very powerful for people to do. And I think we've created a society of people that are scared to do that because of the cancel culture, because of the fucking internet trolls, because of, the people that will just literally attack anyone that has an opinion that differs from theirs.
Literally, my closest friend from high school, I was supposed to be a bridesmaid. She ghosted and uninvited me to her wedding when I had changed my stance politically.
Isn't that wild?
Has never spoken to me since. And that's the only thing that changed.
That feels very cowardice to me.
It's terrible, but the cancel culture is real.
Yeah.
And for a long time myself, I lived in fear of it. And a couple of years ago, I said, I can no longer do this. I have to be authentic to myself. And that means I'm going to attract the type of clientele who appreciate that.
Yes.
And those who want me to be cowarding down to some agenda, that's just not who I'm going to be anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to offend people.
Of course.
Not at all. I've lived both sides of these things. When it does come to politics, I do see there's a lot more common ground than people want to give both sides credit for.
Right.
But what this entire situation of Charlie Kirk being assassinated basically in real time on TV and on the internet has done is it's shown the people who've absolutely lost all sense of humanity and all sense of what is right and what is wrong, evil versus good. And I saw a lot of people with horrible comments saying he deserved to die, he was awful. It goes a lot further than that. But then more importantly, there were people celebrating.
That I can't get my head around, because again, I maintain that I'm not on either side. But here's what doesn't make sense to me, because I'm very much a common sense person. Make it make sense, right? So for the left, who are what I feel like are the ones that are celebrating this, you demand gun control, but then celebrate gun violence. You demand gun control and then celebrate gun violence. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, does that even make sense to anyone? I can't get my head around
It's
that.
the party of hypocrisy now. It really is. Because if Barack Obama were shot in cold blood, conservatives would not be celebrating that.
I agree with you. I agree with you because I have plenty of people from both sides of the aisle in my life.
I would be devastated to see that had happened to one, and he was a president, right? Let's say it was even a CNN correspondent.
Right.
Horrible.
Right.
There is no excuse to shoot somebody because you do not agree with what they have to say.
I know. I watched a clip and it literally just made me sick to my stomach. This whole entire thing has made me sick to my stomach because it makes me just hurt for everybody. Not just people on the right, not people on the left. Like, it just makes me hurt for everybody. To listen to people that are celebrating, and I, again, stay off of this for the most part, but just the little snippets that I hear from people that are telling me things, it makes me sick to my stomach. I did catch a clip of a student at college that was videoing her professor talking about what this happened. And she was saying, "Good job, shooter. You have great aim." And I thought, you fucking animal. You animal. We send our kids to you to educate you. And you sit there. I mean, that is an absolute assault on I can't even get my fucking head around that. It made me hurt for everybody.
You further.
Oh, God. Oh, okay.
This is what actually we talked about yesterday. And all right. So
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
Are you serious?
Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Those are children.
it's disgusting. And there's more to the clip prior to that. However, this person is a preschool teacher. This mother who is talking to her 2 children, and her husband is in the armed forces. So she is a teacher who has taught her kids who, I don't know how old they are, under 10?
Under 10, for sure. Like 5, 6, 7 that are sitting there saying that's the best
Who
news
was
is that
murdered?
somebody was murdered.
And guessing, because at home, clearly the mother or maybe the father too, we don't know, are sitting there talking about how much they hate so-and-so for X, Y, and Z reasons. And their kids are sitting there picking all of that up. And then she has the audacity to think that this is a hilarious clip.
And put it out there.
And put it onto the internet. And this is a educator, a preschool educator. So the problem is starting, I mean, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And what I think Charlie Kirk's death has exposed is that there now has to be consequences. Before, it was the right getting canceled. We didn't want to get vaccines. What else were we being canceled for? Black Lives Matter, not supporting that, which ended up to be a scam anyway. It's not because we don't like Black people. It was a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
I can't even remember all the things that we've attempted to be canceled for. But now the tables have turned where you're putting out things like this and you're losing your jobs. Thousands of people, educators, Starbucks employees, Apple employees, Microsoft, Clemson, you name it, all over the board are getting fired because people are seeing the stuff that these people are putting out. They're taking the time to figure out who does this person work for. They're calling the employers and they are demanding that they take action. And everyone's saying, oh, well, that's an attack on free speech. Not even in the slightest.
Right.
Because imagine if you found out that I was an incredibly racist asshole. You'd be like, I'm not going to give her any business. No
1000%,
way. Am I
1000%.
walking back in here and giving Leila or anyone in her company, A, the time of day, or B, $1?
1,000%. I'm not. That's how you vote. You vote with your fucking dollars. So 1,000%. If I knew that, I would take action.
As you
accordingly.
should.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm a terrible fucking person.
Yeah. Yeah. So say more about, because you are plugged into what's happening out there. I just heard this morning, my husband was telling me when we were out on a walk that people were losing their jobs over this.
Yes.
And I thought, based on that, the professor's one, because that girl that was videoing the professor that was saying like, good job, shooter, whatever, she posted that clip along with the email signature with the professor and her picture and her full name and whatever. And I'm assuming that's one of the people that lost her job, because I wouldn't send my kids back to a college that supported that kind of hate being spread by the people that are standing at the front and are supposed to educate. But it sounds like obviously you're plugged into understanding
Very
like
plugged
just
in.
jobs
There's
being lost everywhere.
hundreds of patriotic individuals who are saying, tag me in these posts and I will do my due diligence to figure it out and send a scripted email that has all the evidence to said employer. There's a couple of people who are just doing it solo. And then there's some people, for example, the guy who runs Students for Trump, Texas, over 100 teachers lose certifications over Kirk posts right there. Let's see. Update, University of Kansas is actually standing by their employee and not firing them. So University of Kansas is going to be under fire for a completely different thing.
Yeah.
There was a nurse, a neurosurgeon, who in the OR had said terrible, terrible things. She had gotten it on camera. She reported it. They fired the nurse. And then everybody was like, are you crazy? She's now gotten her job back. They're celebrating that and they've let go of said neurosurgeon. But one of my friends, she is a lesbian YouTuber and she's hilarious, but she has very conservative leaning parents. And she's like, I'm moderate. And I'm like right in the middle of things. She goes, but I would never want my parents who are elderly to be in the hospital and not receive the care that they deserve because somehow the nurse or the doctor found out that my parents are conservatives.
Right. Right.
And then hold that bias against them in the moment of need where none of that matters.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest factor is that we're all humans and your mindset is the most important thing that you carry around with you each and every day. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing is that I tend to assume the best out of people that there's no way you would celebrate somebody being murdered.
I feel the exact same way. So when I'm seeing the video of someone teaching their young children, that you're an animal.
You're an animal. It's demonic.
That to me is it's literally you're an animal. You're teaching your children hate before they start kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of world do you guys expect to live in? You can't sit there and say like, oh my God, we have all of these shootings and all of this, and all of this, that, and then also like be the one that's perpetuating it by teaching hate in your home.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't get my head around that.
It's really shown that we have a lot more evil than walking amongst us than we ever thought we did.
Yeah.
And through Charlie passing, more people are rushing to church. Church was packed. I went for 2 hours on Sunday. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
More Turning Point USA chapters are popping up. People are really, really angry and they want to be involved. Mm-hmm. So the people like yourself who want to keep their head in the sand are saying, I can no longer. I have to get out of the sand. I have to be part of the solution. Mm-hmm. We have to find something that can unite us. And the hard part is the left saying, oh, unity, unity, unity. Let's put all these stupid flags and things in our yards because unity, yet you're celebrating murder. Mm-hmm. Well, those two things don't align, right? Yeah. You say one thing, you do another. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest part of how are we going to find a middle ground where we can peacefully do this. When I was a kid, it was so normal for your neighbor to be a Democrat and your neighbor to be a Republican and you still played together and nobody cared. And
yeah. Because there were more similarities and more things that you had in common than differences.
And you would never see somebody's parents fighting over that.
Of course. And you can absolutely celebrate that. But we have to this point where everything has just ratcheted up a notch, right? You just watch all of this, everything, the lack of human connection, and then just the fear that is bred. So if you look at the media, if you look at how they operate to divide us, right? It's like we take these little clips and we put our heading on for what we want you to believe, and then we put it out there. So it's like maybe there's however long of a 5 minutes that Charlie spoke. They take that and it's not just for Charlie. I mean, this is for
they can do it to your show right now.
Exactly. Welcome. But doing all of that and then putting out what their narrative is, and then pushing it out there, and then it's all like sheep and people that are asleep because they see that and they go, oh, fuck that guy. Look what he said. And it's like, you don't even know what that guy stands for. And again, I don't give a shit if it's Charlie Kirk or whoever it is. That's not the right way to do that. But our media preys on people's fears and just fuels that fire.
They
right?
do.
Politics does the exact same thing. Look at who benefits, right, from feeding the fear. If you pay attention to that, if you look at what you follow the money, right?
Big news.
Oh, it's fucking wild.
And every person who has a TV commercial on any of those news stations is cashing in.
Yeah.
Because that's where the attention has gone.
Absolutely.
The other thing that actually struck me through this entire thing, as I was watching the different news channels, is if you say something with conviction, mm-hmm. people are automatically going to lean towards believing you.
Yeah.
So if I were to go up to a college-age student today and say, oh my God, can you believe that JFK was assassinated 10 years ago today? Mm-hmm. Isn't that the most heinous, horrible thing? And they'd be like, wow, yeah, that's awful. They would agree with me because I said it with conviction.
Yeah.
JFK was not assassinated 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But they're not going back to fact check when that happened. But I delivered that message with conviction. And so you are going to believe me, even though you have no idea what the hell I'm actually talking about. And that is the perfect example of, I watched this clip this morning of and I know that the right does this too. I'm not saying that this is a left only thing, but it was Kamala Harris, it was Hillary Clinton, it was everybody. These are fascists. We're turning into a fascist. Our democracy is dying. Fascism, fascism. I mean, every clip saying that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and even nastier things. And it's like, you keep feeding that mindset.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a fascist was when I was young.
Yeah.
And now all these kids online are like, he's a threat to our democracy. Right. We have to fight fascism. We should kill him. There's online groups, which I know is going to destroy you, on this thing called Discord, which I didn't even know what the hell Discord was. But it's this weird online community, and they have a group, Utah Trans Shooters, like literally, and their logo is a gun. And they were all talking about, prior to Charlie dying, how they could take Charlie Kirk out. And I saw an interview of a girl who goes to Utah Valley University, and she had texted her mother after everything went down, and I actually saved it. She said, there was so much talk this past week around UVU and Provo about how he'd be shot. So-and-so had called me twice to say, Mom, they're going to kill him here. I kept assuring her they'd have security, and there are always crazy threats. She called as she was running, and she was crying. I knew it. They've been saying they'd shoot him, and they did. And this is the stuff going on online. There's a game called Roblox. Once again, I don't have children. I don't know what this is. Leftists are uploading sick games for children to relive the Charlie Kirk shooting on Roblox. So they've had to remove more than 100 users creating experiences that reference the Charlie Kirk assassination. Another leftist group created a, not doll, but a plastic figurine of him being shot in the same outfit, and they're online selling it on TikTok. I personally did a video saying, I don't care where you stand politically, two children will never know their dad, and they will hear about him, and they will have to see that video, and that is going to be one of the lasting memories that they have of their father. And now Erica Kirk has to live this life with a target on her back in fear of her children, and she's always going to have to deal with the pain of what she has lost. So forget about all of us. Let's think about just their family unit. And I go, celebrating that is pure evil. Every comment that I got was a nasty person celebrating and then saying, well, I don't know why you're not upset about this person. I don't know why you're not upset about George Floyd. I don't know why
do people do that? I'm sorry to cut you off, but why do people do that? Because I understand that concept, right? And you would look at me and you would say, why wouldn't you be pissed off about all of these other things? Again, I admittedly have had my fucking head in the sand because I bring a lot of energy and a lot of light to people in my life that I do, and I feel like I'm not able to do that if I'm sucked into the fucking media. When COVID happened, I remember getting up in the morning and I would turn on the news and I would watch as they would literally just prey on people's fears. Literally, the media preys on people's fears. And after doing that for a couple months, I thought, there's no fucking way I can do that. Like, I'm the type of person that has the old Google search that just has a white page that doesn't have any news on it. I don't fucking want any of that shit on my feed because I think it's all bullshit, right? I think my eyes are open to what's happening out there to the extent that it's all bullshit, right?
It is.
Anybody can say whatever the fuck they want, and none of it has to be fact-checked or true, including the major media fucking outlets. So it's like, why would I even watch that? I'm going to watch something that I know is all true. Maybe there's little nuggets of truth in there, but they're literally just stirring up the people that don't fucking know any better, right?
And saying it with conviction.
And saying it with conviction
Yep.
and pitting everybody against each other with fear. And to me, I think, how about let's just try something different, right? As a human race, let's try something different. Rather than saying, well, why are you so pissed off now about Charlie Kirk? What about all of these other things? Let's collectively get pissed off about all of them and say, you know what? As a fucking human race, we're going to connect and we're not going to live in fear anymore. We're not going to let the people that profit from us fucking living in hate and rage and anger towards one another, we're not going to continue to feed that. We're going to open our eyes a little bit to understand that it's all bullshit, right? And let's come together and do something different about it. That's what I'm proposing, right? Because I don't give a fuck about what side you're on or what your sexual orientation is or what your race is. We're all one fucking people. And what people don't understand is when we're fucking attacking one another constantly, there's no good that's coming out of that. We're teaching our children hate. For what purpose, right? Because that's what's being handed to us, and that's what we continue to perpetuate. Have you ever seen the movie Focus? It has Will Smith and Margot Robbie in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like maybe 15 years old or something.
I might have seen. I never remember movie titles. Tell me about it.
He's like a thief, right? He's a pickpocket, and he has all of these scams and stuff. But he's teaching her how to pickpocket somebody. So he goes up and he touches her on the shoulder or touches her on the waist so that he can steal her watch, right? It's like, I touch you here to draw your attention over here so that I can rob you back here, right? That's the mentality that he's teaching her. And after I saw that movie, I started using that in different things where people are taking from other people because they've distracted them over here. And I'm talking with my husband this past weekend of all of this stuff that's happening. And I said, this is literally like the focus effect on the biggest scale because everyone's standing there. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm right. And the whole time, our fucking shared humanity and our human connection is being fucking robbed from us, right? While it's like, I'm right because I believe this and you believe that, right? I believe this, you believe that. And they're just screaming. And no one's ever going to take enough time to say, you know what, Leila, what is your value? What is your opinion on all of that? And then I can just respect that for what it is because you have a different perspective than I do, right? The focus effect is happening to all of us from all of these different entities that profit off of keeping us divided, off of fucking breeding fear and hate in us. I'm over it. And I'm fucking pissed off. Not because we murdered one fucking person, which it is a tragedy, right? Some mother is burying her son. Some fucking 30-year-old woman no longer has a husband to help her raise her fucking children. She knew that was a risk going in. Does that make it okay? Absolutely not, right? Charlie will have a bigger impact after his death than he ever did before. And so people that think and they want to celebrate that, congratulations, you've just woken a sleeping giant. And that sleeping giant is all of the fucking people that are done with this shit. All of the people that go, oh yeah, the internet trolls fucking suck and like, oh, it's going to be canceled. Fuck you. Everyone's fucking coming for you. And I'm telling you that right now. Everyone is fucking pissed off from both sides of the aisle, right? Everyone is. If I'm fucking pissed off, I'm telling you. If I'm pissed off, everyone's fucking pissed off. That's where it is because I live with fucking rainbows and unicorns and oh, the world is so amazing. It's shit. My eyes have been opened this week, and it is literally shit. My husband says to me, there's a movie called The Fifth Element, and it has that girl it has Bruce Willis and the girl with the orange hair. Yes. And so there's a part in it where she's watching what's happened over the however long in the world, and she types in war, and she's watching what's happened to our country. And she's just crying. I mean, she's sitting there crying. And my husband says to me this week, I feel like I'm watching you in that scene because I have literally had my fucking head in the sand because I know how fucking bad it is. And opening my eyes to a world that people are literally celebrating and teaching their children to hate one another. Like, yeah, shut that man up because he fucking said something that differs for what you believe. If you don't like it, change the channel. There's plenty of things out there that I don't like. Do you know what I do? I don't watch them. What kind of fucking children walk among us? And I don't mean children underage. I mean adult fucking children who don't know how to handle their own fucking minds and emotions that think that that's the right thing to do. Stay plugged in and watch something that someone fucking says that you don't agree with and then silence him and celebrate. Everyone should be mad as fucking hell right now. Literally everyone should be mad as hell. And it has nothing to do with politics, people. Wake up. Fucking wake up. They are breeding fucking fear and hate in us, and that is not okay.
It's not. But we talked about this before. The aftermath of everything happening with Charlie, we did not go burn down cities. We did not loot. We did not destroy. We did not tell the other side that, hey, we've got our guns and you better watch out, right? And per capita, conservatives own way more guns than liberals do.
Yeah.
But none of those threats were made.
No.
What did we do instead? We have been coming together. We have been crying. We have been praying. We've been going to church. We've been trying to utilize our sadness for something much larger than all of us.
Yeah. I will say the right and the left are not the same. I will say that from my perspective, the right and the left are not the same. And I will also say that, you know, there's a center line, which I like to stay close to.
Yeah.
Because I believe things that the left believe, and I believe things that the right believe, and I don't have to pick one side. I get to believe whatever I want to. I'm a free thinker. Isn't that great?
100%.
Independent thinker. I get to make my own.
And that's why when I came and changed my mind, it's because I'm a critical thinker.
Of course, right?
My
and we
life
should
changed.
encourage that.
And it's okay to change my mind.
Totally.
That does not make me a terrible person from before when I believed something different.
Totally.
I just changed my mind.
Yeah.
We should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, but the people that we're giving the platforms to are these people that are way far left or way far right, right? The people that on the right are wanting to fucking tell other people their business and be so far in people's lanes and tell them that they can't have this or they can't do that or they can't do whatever they want with their own bodies. And people on the so far left that are taking these small incidents or these small percentages of people and trying to fucking cram that down everybody else's throats, right? And it just keeps getting more and more outrageous because the stuff that I hear from the far left, I'm just like, is someone
Like girl sports should stay girl sports. Like let's
100%,
just agree.
100%. I can be a critical thinker. I don't give a fuck what side of the aisle that falls on. 1,000%.
It's not fair.
Make it make sense, right? I
Right?
didn't raise little girls to say like, oh, the least talented male athlete or the person that was born with a dick is going to come and just destroy you because nobody has the fucking balls to stand up and say this doesn't make sense.
100%.
Let's start that party in the middle, the make it make sense party, right? Which is like so a little bit of critical thinking to say it's never going to be the answer for 100% of the people.
It never will be.
It never will be. And so if people come from this place of like, oh, little Johnny's getting left behind, totally get it. And that's fucked up. But let's in our community figure out how we're going to serve little Johnny or help his family or whatever, instead of taking the whole system and making it cater to little Johnny, because you're losing the other fucking 95% of people when you're doing that. That's a critical thinking, let's make it make sense kind of thing. Why can we not have more of that? But we don't. We let them manipulate us. And there's this they, right? People are like, I say, who's this they? Anybody who profits from fucking dividing us and keeping us in fear, right? Because it just fuels the flames of it. It makes people hate one another. We used to get together in neighborhoods and have potlucks and kids played together and like
God,
all of
kids
this
can't
stuff.
even go outside without their parents anymore.
People don't even make eye contact anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'm the weirdest person in the planet because I'm standing at an elevator and everyone's in their phones. I'm like, hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm that girl, right? Just so you know, I'm holding doors and saying hi to people
You know what?
and
That's
fucking
actually
smiling.
what I love the most about living in Scottsdale is
Yeah.
after living on the East Coast for as many years as I did.
Yeah.
It was like, you don't look, whatever. It was just cold.
Yeah.
Everyone in Scottsdale every morning, have a good day. What floor are you getting on?
Yeah.
Everybody's so nice. They hold and wait to like make sure you can get in with your groceries. And I'm like, this is so refreshing.
It is.
It is so refreshing.
And being able to do that, right? I mean, I think
we all should be able to do these things.
Human connection is everything,
It
right?
is.
So it doesn't matter how it is, right? If I'm going to go in and buy a lottery ticket for myself, I buy another one for the cashier or somebody else and I hand it to them on the way out and, you know, tell them have a great day. What does that cost me? $2. Do you know what that does for that other person's day, right? And they get to go and be like, oh, that was that crazy lady. How fun was that? You know, I connect with everyone. I connect with everyone. So that's part of I protect my energy, I protect my light, because you're not going to win this darkness fighting darkness.
No,
you're just not.
You can't.
Right?
You can't become dark.
You can't. And so here's the other thing. So to people that are listening, you have to be the light in this situation. Do not let them feed and fuel your fear and your hate, because that's what they fuel, right? They fuel the fear, which then turns into fucking hate, anger, and rage of, can you believe what this guy is saying, right? If you're really upset about it, take a minute, watch the full episode, get both sides of it, right? Don't just take some, one-liner kind of thing and then just take, oh, now we're going to fucking hate this guy. It's outrageous.
But don't let a political figure or commentator be the person that dictates your moral compass.
Right.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
So anybody, right? Charlie Kirk was not the person who was dictating my moral compass. That was already freaking set. And guess what? Anderson Cooper or whoever on the left, I don't know, nor do I care, shouldn't be the person that you go to look to for how you should feel about something. What this means.
Yeah.
Oh, this is their take, so it's got to be my take because this is the church that I subscribe to. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
and it feels really terrible, which I have got to believe that deep down somewhere, if you've celebrated the murder of someone, it doesn't have to be Charlie, it could be anybody, that does not feel good to your soul, because that is not what we are on this earth to do, is to celebrate darkness.
Yeah. I heard after the whole my son watched it on Instagram, and I asked somebody at work who has 8 children. Oh my God.
My gosh.
He and his wife adopted 6 kids because at their church they were going to be divided. He literally, and so I support him and his wife, my husband and I do, in any way that we possibly can, because I adore them.
That is amazing.
It is. It's the coolest story. And I went to him after this happened, after I got off the phone with my son, and I said, is this a real thing? Because again, until this podcast, I have not had social media. You can go look at my personal one. I literally have it so that I can follow my nieces and my nephew and like whatever. I do not post shit on there. It's like, that's not my vibe. I didn't realize this could be a thing. And so I'm having this moment, this Fifth Element moment, where I'm watching things that I didn't realize ever happened. And so I go to him and I say, is this a real thing? Wiley said that, that this is a real thing, that you could just watch murder happen. And he's like, yeah, I've fielded phone calls from most of my kids today that, again, on their feed are watching a man be murdered, and then the celebration of that. And the look on that man's face, I can't get it out of my mind. He's doing everything he can to do the right thing with his wife, live a good life and be good people and take care of, whoever they can. And on our social media feeds, our kids are just being inundated with filth.
2 days before that, a Ukrainian immigrant was stabbed on the subway,
And they just watch that.
and that video was on there too.
So then I called my daughter, my 25-year-old daughter, and I said, is this real? Like, is this a real thing that you can just do? She goes, Mom, that's been on there since we were 13. And it makes me feel like an asshole that I'm out to lunch when my kids had that. I didn't give them phones when they were young. They were like, when they got to the point where they were driving, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense, right? I was the unpopular mom who's like, you don't need social media. That's garbage. Like, you don't need a phone right now. Like, what if we get in trouble? Borrow somebody else's phone, ask somebody's mom, like whatever. That's the unpopular position that I had. But now that I'm learning all of this stuff, as a mother, my soul is so heavy and it hurts. And I think to the mothers out there who know that that's been going on, are we not going to unite over that as moms to say, this isn't okay? We're literally feeding our children to the wolves. If you don't feel that as a parent every time you hand them that fucking phone, you're missing it. You're missing it. We are feeding our children to the fucking wolves. And let's do something about it. Because again, now I'm awake as it relates to what's happening out in the world. I'm awake in all sorts of other ways, just not in all of the things.
Course.
Now I'm fucking awake and I'm fucking pissed off. I'm really pissed off that we just let them fucking feed our fear and then just, we don't have another choice, so we're just going to give them fucking social media feeds with
murder. And I've had social media since it started. I've never seen something like what I saw with the Charlie Kirk assassination ever on social media, ever.
Okay, well then that makes me feel a little bit better.
Have I ever seen someone get shot in the neck and blood come gushing out as the person died on camera 2 minutes after it happened? I've never seen that ever. So let that be a little solace, but there's a lot of nasty, horrible things that you can see. My feed, my algorithm gives me good things. Yeah. It gives me cat videos. It gives me sports highlights. It gives me my friends' babies.
Yeah.
So I'm not feeding into that. But if you are somebody who's tuned in, then you probably have seen a lot of really dark shit online. So I'm not the end all be all on that.
Right.
But I completely agree. It's not safe for kids. I actually have this study, Stanford researchers stumbled upon an algorithm that turns ordinary teenagers into transgender in just 90 days of content exposure. And I'm not here to have a transgender conversation, but what this Stanford study is interesting is, turns out TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord all use the same pattern. Once you like even a single video about self-acceptance or gender identity, the algorithm floods your feed with similar content 10 times more. A teenager ends up seeing 200, 300 clips about gender transition every month. The brain begins to register it as normal. They then become success stories of people who finally became themselves. The scariest part is that it works like a drug. Each new clip hits the dopamine system. Teens get hooked on gender transition content, even if they were 100% straight to begin with. Researchers tracked 5,000 teen accounts. Within 6 months, 73% had shifted their search from how to talk to a girl to how to know if I'm trans. The algorithm acts like a virus. It doesn't ask for permission. It rewires identity piece by piece with self-doubt taking over. The only defense is understanding that social media is not neutral. It is a brain grinder that profits from your confusion and instability. Your kids are at risk every single day. And this is, the study they did was on transgender, but this could go for anything.
You're absolutely right.
It literally could go for anything. Mm-hmm. If you're liking violent content, you're going to continue to see violent content, right? And now you're flooded with that. And you might not have been a violent person before, but now, every single day, you're feeding the monster. And your mindset, right, is everything. It is the one thing that you walk around with all day, every day, no matter what situation you're faced with. And this is truly a cancer.
You're being poisoned.
You are.
You're being poisoned.
But your kids are.
Yeah.
And you can't control what your kids do every day.
Right.
So as parents, it's like, how do we bring back instilling something that is so much stronger than what technology that profits off of this is feeding to these kids?
So here's a funny thing. I, a couple of years ago, had this, the ampersand symbol, right? As I was on my healing journey for things, that meant something to me, because before I got sober and before I did all of this work on myself, I thought the world revolved around me. And when I started kind of using that ampersand symbol, it was a symbol to just kind of open my perspective so that I realized everything isn't just about me, right? It was me and my husband, me and my children, me and my friends, me and whatever. And a couple of years ago, I started playing around with the design for it because I thought, how beautiful. That's so much bigger than just me, right? It's this beautiful symbol, or it can be. And so a couple of years ago, I started playing around with it from the standpoint of gay pride, because my brother is gay, and I think we should all be celebrated, no matter what it is, regardless of whether that goes against you. You don't have to agree with everything that everybody does, but we're all humans. It's this human
we don't need
level.
to be mad about it.
We don't have to be mad about it.
No.
Exactly. Like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. It's fucking perfect. I'm not gonna come,
100%.
right? And so
Totally agree.
So I have this ampersand thing that I have the gay flag on, right? And it's because for me, I was like, okay, now we're starting to add all of these letters and these pluses and these things. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to see, like, let's celebrate all of us, no matter what. Because also, what about, don't like poo-poo the straights because you're all of these things, like, we're cool too, right? And so it was just the and, right? And then I got to the same thing when it came to race, because I see all of this, like, how are we going to fix these race relations in our country, right? We're so divisive. And I look at it and I think, in my world, I've got black people, I've got white people, I've got, brown people, I've got all of the friends, I've got all of everyone represented. And those people don't feel that way. And not that I don't live in like a bubble for whatever I do, but I think, again, the media feeds this hate and this fear of like, oh, but do you see what they're doing?
I want to say to anybody who thinks America's racist, have you ever been outside of this country?
Exactly.
Have you ever left?
It's true. It's totally true. I think you're absolutely right. So then I designed this, like, okay, skin tone over this ampersand thing, right? And then this Charlie Kirk thing happens. And I designed the third one, and now I'm ready to fucking launch it, because this is going to be something that I think is a movement to bring us together. And I don't know what that means, except I'm going to put this out there. And it is divided down the middle, not because it's divided, but half of the ampersand is red and half of the ampersand is blue. Because I believe that we are not meant to be divided by politics. Because for those of us that don't fucking believe in the government, who thinks the government's a bunch of bullshit, right? Because there are those of us that believe that, right? I think, sure, it started out great, and I don't believe it now. I think it's so corrupted, and no one tells the truth. There's no transparency, and it's like, well, tell us this and tell us that, and you just get these little nuggets that are spun however the media wants to spin them, right? So I'm launching the ampersand project, where I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but it's literally going to be a symbol of, we're done. We're done being manipulated. We're done being bred in fear. We're done being divided, where all of this nasty darkness is coming from, and let's unite, and we'll figure out whatever the next steps are, right? I truly believe that the big guy is going to put things in place that are supposed to take this where it's going to be, but at least allow this to be a symbol where when you see this, you understand that that's also a person that says, I'm not just following one side. I'm not just plugging into shitty media that's meant to manipulate me and feed off of my fears, right? I believe that literally everything is either rooted in love or fear. I believe that to my core.
I believe that as well.
Yeah. So it's like, you're either going to go on the path of fear or on the path of love. And again, I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that there are enough of us out here that are tired. We're tired of being manipulated. We're tired of living in a world that literally is rooted in fear, and which divides us. I mean, it literally does. It's meant to isolate us, make us afraid of our neighbor. And rather than going over and saying, hi, neighbor, I'm so-and-so, and these are the things that we have in common, and how great, and if you need a cup of sugar, like, I'll be here. Instead, on the TV, on the news, on the social media, they're saying, your neighbor is a fucking animal, right? And they're teaching us all of that stuff, and they hate you. And if you even thought that maybe you might be gay, they hate you, and like all of this stuff. I mean, it's just fear, 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 fear. I'm done. I'm done. And,
So am I.
and I'm really passionate about this, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. And so I'm going to ask
love that.
other people that will stand up with me. And I don't have the answers, but let's figure it out. Let's figure it out, because I don't want to have my children playing with other people's children who are literally bred in their homes to hate other people. That's what that is. That video that you showed me, that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. You've literally robbed the innocence of your own child. Don't people get that? Like, children lose their innocence. To me, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than the loss of an innocence of a child. You did it to your own children by teaching them to
And you
celebrate.
laughed about it.
And you laughed about it.
And you are an educator.
You're the problem. You're the problem. We talked about it yesterday because I asked if you had kids, and
Yeah.
we said, and I agree, bring kids into the world. If you're like, I want to be a mom and I know that I'll be good at this and whatever, do that, right? I think that that's excellent. But it scares me to death, because as a mother of 3 grown children, if I had a kid in this world right now, I'd never send him to school.
I know.
That would never.
Believe me, we've talked about that so many
That
times.
would never happen.
It definitely scares me too, but that's the thing, right? Do I want to be rooted in love or fear?
I know.
And so if we are good human beings and we are both deeply rooted in our belief of Christ and doing the right thing, right? I want to be a great business owner who treats everyone in my orbit as wonderfully as possible. I want to be a good wife, a good mom, I want you to have a good experience every time you walk in here. I genuinely care about those things. So if people like me retreat and say, you know what, I can't do this because the world's gotten so toxic, well, then I feel like we're letting the fear win.
Yeah.
And if it's in God's plans for us to have kids, then we will. And if it's not, then we won't. But,
Right.
that's out of my control.
Right.
But it's really just about how do we choose to walk in faith?
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you. I'm just glad I don't have to be the one that makes that decision, because
It's scary.
It is scary. In the last years of my youngest being in high school, the school shootings and that kind of stuff, I literally just felt like I'm feeding my kids to the wolves. My middle daughter and what goes on in high schools now.
Bullying.
I literally felt like I'm driving them to school and I'm dropping them off, and I'm literally feeding them to the wolves. It was the worst, And I have 3 very individual children who march to the beat of their own drummer. My 29-year-old does not have social media at all. People are like, well, how am I going to reach you? She's like, fucking pick up the phone and call me, write me a letter. Like, she's so solid in who she is. I love it so much,
Send me
right?
a text.
Exactly. And my 25-year-old, she struggles, right? Because it's like, she wants to be connected because of the benefits of it, and then it fucks with her, right? Because for young women, it teaches them not to be confident in who they are, to compare each other to somebody else's highlight reel and all of the things. I mean, it's just, there's nothing good that kind of comes from that. But how do we do something about it,
I've heard that a lot, and I don't look at social media as a comparison chart. And I don't know why I don't look at it as a comparison chart. But I think I love seeing people win. It's one of my favorite things. Like, this is weird, but I love walking through a casino in Vegas when I'm there for a trade show and seeing people win.
I do too.
It is so exciting. I'm like, yes, oh my God, I'm going to stand here and watch, because you're so excited. This is so fun. And so I look at it as, if you're seeing another female out there successful, doing great things, and it makes you jealous or makes you feel less than, you should celebrate that, because somebody else succeeding does not take away from your ability to succeed. And I think that's a lesson that all, especially women, need to be able to really grasp wholeheartedly, is that you doing something great doesn't mean that I can't also do something great.
Yeah, we all have crowns.
We can work together, or we can support one another, but there's room for us all.
There is. And when you realize that, right, like celebrating each other's wins, if that makes you feel a certain type of way, get curious about that, because that has everything to do with you, not the person that's winning, And coming from that place of being somebody's cheerleader, screaming loud and celebrating who they are. Let's do more of that. I have in my everyday where I foster a group of women who, when I'm bringing new people into my group of women, we have a whole chat. It's like you get to sit down with Ann if I'm going to invite you in. And the conversation looks like this. We only support each other here. We say the hard thing to your face, not behind your fucking back, right? And I won't stand for it. Because the group of women that I've cultivated depend on me fucking guarding that like a hawk.
Yeah.
Right? Because as soon as you have someone who says, oh, can you believe what Julie did? Whatever. If you're that concerned about it, why don't you pull Julie aside and share your concerns with something instead of fucking being terrible to her? Because even women that scream at women's empowerment from the rooftops don't support other women.
I agree.
So,
I've seen that actually the most through my career. Men are more than willing to lift me and my business up.
Yep.
And the women, so often, I'm like, I don't understand this. I really don't.
Yeah. No, I don't either, because I come from a place where if you're winning around me, I'm going to be your biggest, loudest cheerleader, right?
100%.
Like, I want to see it. I'm fucking happy for it. It doesn't threaten me at all, right? Sharing my light with other people does nothing for my flame, right? Let me light you up. Let me light you up. Like, I take that initiative seriously and bring that into my everyday. How we foster that, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I'm awake. I'm awake. I understand.
She's no longer in the sand, y'all. The sand is gone.
I pulled my head out of the sand. It has been a very emotional week for me, and that's okay. That's part of what my journey needed to look like to kind of understand this. I'm so emotional about this because it hits like all of these different things. And again, it's just this one thing that sparked it. And if you're sitting out there saying like, but what about this? What about that?
I can't.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. This is what woke me up. Who knows why, right? Because I haven't been plugged into things, because I haven't had. And I don't owe anybody an explanation.
You don't.
I'm awake.
I think that's what we all need to remember.
Yeah.
We don't owe anyone an explanation.
We don't. Right.
For how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not have the right to interrogate me about my feelings on every other tragic thing that has happened.
And also, I didn't ask your opinion. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? When people always comment, I see this, and the deal with the big guy when I did this podcast is, I will do this podcast, but I don't want to be involved in the social media of it, and I will not read comments. And I have stuck to that for the year that this podcast has been out. I've never once read a comment, right? It doesn't mean the good comments are good or bad or like whatever, right? And I get feedback from Casey who says like, oh, it's all great. I'm like, okay, great. But don't tell me if it's not, because I also don't fucking care. I didn't ask anyone else's opinion. I have a calling on what I'm doing right now that has nothing to do with me. And I understand that, right? I'm in tune enough with myself because I think the big guy lives in here for me, right? I believe in God. He just happens to live in here. He's not a guy that fucking lives in the clouds or that's going to let me into heaven. To me, heaven and hell are here on earth. You get to make them however you fucking want to, right?
Well said.
I'm doing things that I'm being called to do. I don't need to understand, right? I'm a conduit, but I didn't ask anybody else's fucking opinion. So if you have shitty comments and you don't like what I have to say, change the fucking channel, okay? No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit what you fucking think. No one gives a shit. Do something that fucking means something, right? Let other people comment on what you're doing. There's that saying about the man in the arena. Have you heard that? The Theodore Roosevelt?
Yes.
Right? I'm the man in the arena. And I couldn't give a fuck less what other people think about what I'm fucking saying. If you don't like it, don't listen. If it bothers you, get curious about why that fucking bothers you. Or go find something that feeds your narrative, right? But I am awake. My head is out of the sand. And what does that look like?
I mean, she's got the boxing gloves on.
Exactly. Oh, I'm fucking here, right?
Yeah.
So again, the Ampersand Project is going to be something that's just going to collect like-minded people. What is that going to turn into? I don't know. It's rooted in love. I will tell you that. I don't fucking come from a place of fear, right? I'm not a fucking bitch. I'm not a baby fucking bitch, emotional shit. I understand how to handle things, right?
Absolutely.
I don't need to be rooted in fear. I can look at things from a critical mind. I don't have to come from this place of, you killed one of our people, or I don't have to do any of that, right? I'm in tune enough with myself to understand and be comfortable with who I am and understand that my calling is to be a conduit for something. And so what I'm doing right now, what I'm being called to do right now, is to bring people together in community, in human connection. What will that look like? I don't know. I don't have to be the brains behind that.
Absolutely.
The big guy will tell us whatever that's supposed to be. And for those people that don't believe in God, it doesn't have to be God the way that you think, right? It's not God in this religious thing. I always thought that was because I was raised organized religion, and it really didn't go with what I believed at my core. That doesn't mean I don't believe in a higher power. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in all of the different things. I just didn't believe in a God that judged other people for who they were, right? Because I think
agree.
we are one human. I think we're all connected. I think
Completely
when you're
agree.
hurting, I'm hurting, right? So I look at these people that are coming back in hate for this Charlie Kirk thing, and my heart hurts for them too.
Me
because
too.
they are literally in so much pain from this
They're so
world that they're
miserable.
suffering as well, right? Like, we're all just suffering. We don't have to fucking keep beating each other up over it. It's not necessary. No one wins in that situation.
No.
Right? So it's like, if you can envision train tracks, and you can either go with love or you can go with fear.
Or hate.
Well, hate goes on the fear, right? They fuel the fear, and then that leads to the anger, the rage, the hate, the whatever, right? If you watch those emotions, it's literally like, you can split it. Google, the difference, because on the love side is compassion and gratitude and like all of these different amazing, like high vibe emotions. And on the side of fear, it's all of this low vibe stuff, insecurity, jealousy, like all of these things. you vibrate, right? They're proving in science, and I've known this for a long time.
Oh,
you
always.
vibrate at all of the frequencies for whatever you put out there. So if you're on the
Absolutely.
track of fear and you're the hate, the anger, the rage, the insecurity, the jealousy, all of the things, you vibrate at that frequency and you attract like a battery those
All
other
of
people,
those things.
right? All of those experiences, all of those people. You literally are a fucking magnet for low vibe, basic bitch shit. Just so everyone understands how it works. This is just,
I always say that when it comes to hiring,
yes,
right?
it
Something
is.
simple.
Totally
if
is.
we are a high vibration company and
Yep.
we support each other and
Yep.
we work and operate, as cliche as it sounds, like a family,
Yeah.
we are all going to have a much better life experience. And we're going to be so much better to be able to serve our clients,
Yes.
grow, and achieve the goals that we set out for.
And it's a much more pleasurable life, right? I mean, it's like
A million
does
times.
bad stuff still happen?
Of
Absolutely,
course.
right? So for me, it's like, okay, there's two buckets. You have negative, and I always envision this as like a negative battery, like a little watch battery, right? So if you're flipped with the negative side up, you are literally attracting all of those experiences in your life. If you flip that to the positive side, right? You can literally watch as good things come to you, right? As you don't have the patience for the bullshit that's over on
You
the fear
attract
track.
ands into your life.
You totally do,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, you get to decide. When you realize, when people are like, oh, my life is shit, I don't have any choices. It's like, no, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that, right? Do you have control over anything out here? Nope. Do I have control in what's here? 1,000%, right? So if I'm rooted in gratitude, in love, in coming from a place of celebrating other people, all of the things,
What can
right?
I do for thy neighbor?
Exactly, right? So it literally comes from fear of love. When I'm buying random people at the store lottery tickets or paying for coffee from people behind me, or I'm that fucking, I'm a fucking jackass when it comes to spreading positivity. I just am. I don't fucking care. I throw Skittles all over the place, right? My book's coming out and it's all about Skittles and positive energy and all of that shit. That's the world I live in, right? But you guys have woken me up now, right? And so now everyone's going to get covered in Skittles. Because I fucking think everyone is great.
But I don't like Skittles.
Exactly. Well, we're going to have to make M&Ms for Layla. But you've woken me up, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not sorry. Because as soon as I fucking get out there and start putting this message of love, it's going to get on everybody. That's just how it works. Like, I was put here for what I'm doing right now. And it has nothing to do with me, right? The big guy gave me all of these really fucked up hard things that I had to like get all of my tools real fucking sharp about, get real comfortable with. All of the things that have led me to this week right now, where I pulled my head out of the sand and I saw the state of what's happening around us. And I have been grieving for humanity this week because it's literally fucking disgusting and it breaks my heart.
Let this be the turning point.
And we're going to allow this to be something that wakes the sleeping giant. Because everything that I fucking put myself behind, everything, I bet on me every time, right? And my agenda is fucking love and human connection and not allowing this whole bullshit of storm, right? This focus effect that they're trying to do to us. That's what it is. This focus effect, we're turning the lights on. I don't need to fight darkness with darkness.
Nope.
I'm fucking shining brighter and I'm turning the lights on. And if you don't like that, I don't fucking care. Change the channel, right? Or you can just get on so I don't have to work so fucking hard, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're going
Change
that way.
yourself
Yeah.
to see the light instead of the darkness.
Exactly. You don't have to change anybody else, right? I changed me, right? I'm going to like spread that so that other people can also understand, right? I live so free that it makes other people feel the weight of their chains. That's it. That's it. We're going to start spreading that and stop this fucking bullshit. So, Layla, thank you
Amen.
so much for coming and spending time with me this morning. This has been very important, powerful conversation. I hope that
Yes.
other people understand, right? Layla and I don't have to agree
On everything.
On anything.
But we do have to show up as good human beings with good intentions.
And I will listen to you with as much passion as I want to be heard, right? And I will respect your experience, your life experience, your perspective, right? People don't understand, right?
That's what makes life beautiful.
It is, right? When I'm yelling from my perspective and saying I'm right, I am. Because I'm experiencing this human experience from my perspective.
Absolutely.
You have a different perspective. It doesn't make you wrong.
But imagine if we were all clones, how boring life would be.
I know. It's totally true. So
let's bring back dialogue.
yeah, let's bring back dialogue. Let's bring back love. Let's bring back
Respect,
absolutely,
humanity.
Absolutely, humanity, right? The shared humanity, the shared human connection. That's what I'm peddling. That's what I'm peddling. And now I'm awake and the gloves are on for the good stuff, right? For the good team. And we're all the good team, just so everyone knows from where I'm standing. This isn't a us versus them on any of it, on any of the things that they are trying to divide us on. So with that, please do all the things. Share, rate, review. Who cares? I mean, definitely don't comment if you're not fucking interested in what my content is. Change the channel and go find something that more aligns.
If you see it on my page, I don't need your commentary either. You can keep it to yourself.
Just go on to the next thing.
Yeah, keep swiping.
Right, exactly. So share that hate with somebody else. Or with no one.
Or
maybe
with no
figure
one,
out why you
actually.
have it. So, all right. That's all we have for today.
Thank you.
Bye.